Well, in a country like India, I would not dare to ask the question of what would happen if cricket was science. But sir, if science was cricket, then Professor C.N.R. Rao, you will be Sachin Tendulkar, Kapil Dev, Rahul Dravid, Nawab of Patodi together.
But the only difference is, to do science the way I am doing, it takes a lot of time and a lot of
Frankly, we could add Jack Tallis also.
Yeah, I know. But they have very short life. Right. In my case, I'm working for the last 60 years doing research. Right. So there is a difference. Our lifespans are very different.
Right.
Science, you work all through your life. If you have worked something in science, it is a way of life. You keep on working because you enjoy
That's why even Sachin Tendulkar retires at 40. You don't.
Well, I'm 80.
Even you at twice the age. Yes. And still producing.
Well, I hope.
Still thinking. We see a shelf full of your books, and I see a shelf full on the other side of PhD thesis of your students. I think you're even more proud of those than these.
My young boys and girls who have done that.
Right. So how many PhDs have you produced, sir?
About 160 people who got directly with me, and a number of postdocs and others. A few hundred people must have worked with me by now.
And many people don't realize the science you are doing is of a very high level. It's not for no reason that you are Bharat Ratna now.
Well, actually, internationally, I've done much better.
A lot of the media is focused on Tendulkar.
I know.
That's also because we don't understand advanced materials.
I know. I do spectroscopy, other things as well. Raman spectroscopy, and these are other areas. What has been wonderful is the entire world has been very nice to me. It is that has given me real recognition internationally. Right. I'm doing very well, whether it is UK or US or Germany or where, it doesn't matter where. I think that has been wonderful. It's a very wonderful community we belong to. Good scientists get together. Right. And it has been wonderful. And in India, of course, they've always been very nice to me, as nice as they can be, because, even this poor country, when it had nothing, has supported us. Slowly we have graduated to this level where we have very good labs now.
I saw your interview in Current Science, I think 12 years back, one of your very few comprehensive interviews, where you said that for a country like so poor as India, it has still done a lot for science.
Not bad. Well, they could do more because when we are doing well, others are doing better. That's the problem. Right. South Korea and others are doing so much better. India's what we are doing is just not enough. We are subcritical, everything.
I mean, you had your famous description of our political decisions as idiotic. I know you didn't call politicians idiots. No. It was a very unscientific word, but very apt.
Well, idiotic is parliamentary
word,
it's allowed in parliament.
But, no, that's why I said it was unscientific, but it was very apt.
Yeah. Well, okay.
So you've been advisor to 5 prime ministers after Indira Gandhi. You could write the history of Indian science.
I have actually written a book which I'll give you before you go. But what has been nice is, well, they've all been good, particularly some of the prime ministers have been enthusiastic. But what bothers me is, have we really understood the role of science and importance of science for India? Do we realize that today's science becomes tomorrow's technology? And unless we are leaders in science, we will not be leaders in technology in the future. So this, I don't know whether that is fully appreciated by people, all people concerned in India.
Has Indian science suffered because of this confusion of Indian science with strategic assets, as we call them?
Absolutely, no question about it. Because, we are given so much money for science that people have said before. Actually, what they are giving is for big projects in, say, atomic energy or space. That is not enough. They have to support people in universities, educational institutions, and young people to come up. Young people don't find it attractive to work here because they don't get enough to go on working in a competitive fashion. That is where things are improving now. I must say, last 5 to 10 years, slight improvement, but we have a long way to go.
Because now you have an autonomous organization that can fund science.
That's right. That I hope will change the scenario.
So tell us about it a little bit.
Well, what has happened is, we never had an institution like the National Science Foundation like in China or in America. We now have one National Science and Engineering Board, which was created based on our Science Advisory Council recommendation with very large money available. They can create new institutions, they can recognize groups, individuals, they can do anything they want. They can create missions, they have a lot of freedom, and then they don't have the financial, that financial control, that bureaucratic control.
It's not there.
That bureaucratic control of money in India, you may get a big grant, we never be able to use it because there are so many rules and regulations and audits.
First of all, the atrocity of L1.
Yeah.
After that, triplicate applications. After get triple audits.
You know what has happened? Many young boys and tells me, young scientists, Professor Rao, I get a 3-year grant. By the time I finished and sent them a report of the second year, the third year is over. So I never end up getting third-year grant because they have to approve the second-year report, right? Before they give you the third-year grant. By that time, the third year is over.
Right. It's like, a few years after my father retired, I think a couple of years he couldn't go and collect his pension. When he went back to collect his pension, they said, give us survival certificate for the previous 2 years also. So he said, look, I haven't come back from the dead. He said, no, but they said, no, this is the procedure. You have to do it.
The same thing happened to my father, actually.
The same thing happened.
He went in September, he sent in my car, went to the bank. They said, oh, you are good, very good. We'll now give you pension from September on. Look, I have to get August as well. Well, but you will come in September. Look, if I'm here in September, I must have been alive in August. But the bank wouldn't
take it. So in this organization, you have cut that bureaucracy.
Yeah, I hope so. Here, by the way, what is nice is every young person comes here, has his own laboratory, very good facilities
So
here.
this is an institution you've set up, the Jawaharlal Center for
this is government money, not mine.
Advanced Scientific Research.
Yeah.
But you are the parent of this institution.
Yeah,
and I can see your face really lights up
I'm
when
fine.
you talk
I'm a
about
founder.
this institution.
But we have got funding from various sources. Recently, I tell you, what is amazing is I was in advisory board of Arab Emirates, one of the sheikhs. He wanted to build something in science. I was on the committee. He got to like me very much. He has given me $4 million just to do whatever you want. I built a small lab in his name, and people have been very good to me.
Right. So, sir, tell us a little bit about the work you do. Tell us what are advanced materials.
Well, I tell you, I started working on structure of molecules to start with, spectroscopy to look at molecules and so on. Magnetism, like, with this kind of a fantastic magnetometer we have. So slowly what I started was, if I want to make a name from India, anything that depends on very heavy equipment, very fancy equipment, I will not be able to do that. Right. Americans will always have better equipment. So I thought I must start a new area where I can make completely new things which is not known before. So I picked this chemistry of materials. This was about 55 years ago. Very few people were working at that time.
So very few people know that you worked with Dr. C.V. Raman.
I didn't do research with him. I knew each other. But I started that. And now today it has become a mainstream science. So I have grown with a subject which I started. One of the few, many people think I'm the grandfather in this field. And now it has become so important technologically, particularly, that people think of me when I think of the subject. So this subject deals with designing and discovering materials with extraordinary novel properties and which have direct implication to technology.
Right.
So that is the kind of thing. For example, all kinds of things we do with instrumentation. We have all kinds of instrumentation here.
Entering one of your labs.
Yeah, for example, here, we can, given any material, it will find out every electron of every kind in any given material. It will tell you what the energy is, where exactly how that electron is situated, what it is doing. This is the kind of instrument. This is one of the microscopes. We have many microscopes here. This is one of the lesser microscopes here. The big microscope is there, which looks at every atom in great detail. This this can photograph every atom.
Every atom.
Anything over here. What is the resolution? Less than 1 angstrom. The resolution. We have to maintain the temperature.
Translate that to people like us who can barely figure out the difference between metric and...
No, that is 10 to the power of minus 9 centimeter. So you can do lots of very, very high resolution thing. Look at every detail of any material.
What do advanced materials do for me and my daughter?
Well, whether it is electronics, whether it is biology, biomedical sciences, in everywhere it is a material that determines the progress.
Right.
And you need the right kind of material, whether with the replacement of your spine or skin, or whether it is
artificial skin,
anything like that, you need a new kind of material. Electronics, magnetic materials, they are all construction material. Anything you need a new. Look at the entire area of composites, for example.
Right.
We make composites which are stronger than steel. Right. For example, the new carbon materials that we have, much stronger than steel.
Titanium, I believe.
No, much stronger than that. Made of carbon. Right. So in fact, there's a joke in New York Times, not New York Times, New Yorker. They wanted to have a lift from here to the space station. How do you have a rope for that lift? They said it will be made of carbon fiber, the kind, not fiber, carbon nanotubes of the kind we work on here. So these are the kind of advanced materials we make.
In fact, it's also been used in security, used for body armor.
In fact, that is used
for tank armor, for rockets, missiles.
Well, you know,
to withstand high temperatures.
so whether it is mechanical properties, whether it is electronic properties, magnetic, a number of properties of this
And
kind.
somebody's done an artificial skin also with
Yeah,
it?
that is in fact one of the greatest persons in this area is in MIT, a friend of mine, Robert Langer. What he has done is he has made targeted delivery of a drug. Actually, I told you, the drug goes directly to a small place where your brain cancer is affecting you. That kind of technology has developed. He's become famous for that. And he's the one who has developed artificial skin. You know, particularly recently, for some of the discovery we have made, you put two types of nanomaterials in polymers, you can make materials which are so strong, which is unknown before.
Right.
So this is the kind of thing. Advanced materials is an area where there is no end to it. For example, this idea, discovery of graphene, one atom thick of carbon sheet that got a Nobel Prize 3 years ago. That is a hot area. We do a lot of work here on that type of thing here.
Right, sir. So, but you are still attracting enough young people who are driven by curiosity.
Yeah, you know, fortunately, a lot of people want to work here, come work with me and many other colleagues of mine, which is wonderful. What is really problem is, after they get a good education, we do not have sufficient number of good institutions where they can be used, actually.
Yeah, in fact, they should be going.
example,
They should be going and teaching and building institutions.
No, they should be. They suppose they get a job in a second-rate university, they feel they are wasting their time. So we need more institutions. Recently, we have these ICERs, you know, Indian
Right.
institutes. Those 5 are coming up well.
Right.
I hope such
Well,
institutions.
you should. You benefited from being at IIT
Well, I was a faculty member in
Kanpur, and then you had in Indian Institute of Science for a decade. Right.
ICERs was our creation of the Science Advisory Council.
Right.
These 5 ICERs are doing very well. But we have to need more institutions. And in the meantime, we have to improve our universities. There is no choice. We have to invest more in universities. I think that is the future as far as I'm concerned.
Because sir, either we don't have, either we have no PhDs or we have faltu PhDs. We mass produce PhDs.
Well, you
for
know,
the heck of it.
we are not, we are not producing many compared to, say, Chinese. Right. Chinese are producing now 23,000 PhDs per year. We are producing about 8,000. We are nowhere. But the real problem is we need many PhDs, say, in computer science. We are not producing enough. We need many more. For example, we have a lot of IT workers. There are very few PhDs in computer.
But I think you've said in the past that IT has taken away too much talent from science.
Too much. But in fact, Narayan Murthy feels that I am against IT, which is not true. Actually, what I am saying is, you can't have one profession like that, which is a very routine profession, which does not require much high creativity, sucking away everybody. Imagine, in this city, I have not had one student coming in Bangalore for research. Everybody is from Bihar, UP, and Rajasthan. Of course, a lot of people from Bengal.
Sir, you think UPA has been a disappointment because they started with the promise of allowing foreign universities, larger institutions, but they lost their way.
No, I am afraid foreign universities won't save us. Eventually we have to
our own, but autonomous, genuinely autonomous.
Genuinely autonomous. They can help you if you like.
Right.
But IIT Kanpur, I was one of the first professors of IIT Kanpur. I was only less than 30 when I was made a professor there. And then, look, we had this American aid, which all wonderful. IIT Kanpur was fantastic. Slowly, it is no longer the same, of course. Things have changed there. But, that type of thing won't do unless this excitement comes from within.
Because whatever changes there is not fast enough because the world is changing much faster.
Much faster. Well, the way I look at it, in around 20 years, India will have much more student population, another few crores. I think we have to do something about education and science. Education particularly is related to science in a way indirectly. I think we have to do something for rural India particularly.